Okay, this is great. We got another Dave and Amber show, and this one is we're going to record this and put it up really quick because we got a big ADA conference coming up in
Ah,
hot and steamy New Orleans. Let's see, the conference starts June 3rd, I believe. Is
June 3rd.
yeah. And then and you know what? Amber's going to break her cherry. This is their very first ADA conference.
That's how you should word it. But yeah, this is
Congratulations. This is, I know I've been to over 20 ADAs, but it's kind of almost a homecoming for me because my very first ADA was in New Orleans.
oh, okay.
So I like to say it's on the show circuit. So,
Yeah.
so this being your first one, what are you looking for? What do you want?
Well,
What do you, other than good gumbo?
I don't eat gumbo.
Oh, well, you
Just like I'm just kidding.
New Orleans, boy.
I always like connecting with people, and because I've been writing about diabetes for the past 8 or 9 years and doing all this stuff, meeting someone in person and some of the other conferences I've gone to, the takeaways there of just connecting. I looked at some of the topics that will be discussed, and it blows my mind, and I'm excited to maybe attend a few of those and just learn more firsthand. And that's wonderful. I've always attended these things virtually, so it's nice to be in person. And to be able to be in person again is wonderful. And I will say I have an advantage over you, Dave, in that Oklahoma weather right now is 96 degrees and humidity is high. So I'm going to roll into New Orleans and it's going to be like a breeze. Where you coming from San Diego or Chicago, it's going to be like a 20-degree difference.
Oh,
It's not going to be too difficult for me.
yeah, the weather in New Orleans, most women hate it because not only is it really hot, it's really humid and it screws with their hairdo. And
You're going to have the hairdo problems. You've got the curls.
yeah, well, yeah, they're naturals, thank God. But what was I going to say? No, I think this is going to be a great conference. There'll be a lot of buzz, I think, about the Omnipod 5. Excuse me, the
G6, 7,
everybody's going to look for the G7
and the Libre 3, right?
Libre 3, and then the new Lilly drug, which I believe is pronounced Mounjaro. I may be incorrect.
Yeah.
That just got approved. And let's face it, it's the first live domestic diabetes conference. It's got to be 2 years now. I'm almost positive that we have not had a live in-person event. It's got to be 2 years now, at least 2 years.
Okay, let me ask you something about the Eli Lilly announcement with the drug, because that has happened just recently. And the FDA, I mean, like, I don't know if they knew exactly when that day would happen. Obviously, that's different. But are they going to be able to present about it during the conference?
Oh, absolutely. They used what's called a priority voucher with the FDA because basically what that does is it pushes you to the front of the line.
Okay.
You pay for that privilege.
Yep.
There is voluminous amounts of data on this drug, not just from a diabetes perspective, but also from an obesity perspective.
Right.
It is a new drug. It works a little bit differently than a traditional GLP-1, but the results have been, I mean, they have studied it 6 weeks from Sunday.
Yeah.
And the results are quite honestly pretty amazing. Like Ozempic and like Trulicity, it is a once weekly injection. It is targeted at patients who are not using insulin.
Right.
So anyways, going back to what I was saying, I think the best news here, first of all, it's a very good drug. And again, so many people can have access to it. I think it's going to be awesome.
I'll be curious as to how quickly it hits the market and when we will hear about it from a patient perspective. Because I know with a new announcement of a drug, of course, they've got their sales reps out there to educate the medical community. So I kind of want to putting a timeline together, like when are we going to hear more about it from the patient side?
I mean, the doctor can prescribe it right now, I believe.
Well, let's get away from the drugs. Like, let's talk about more about the ADA, because that's just one of many things that are going to be going on there. A seasoned ADA attendee, what are you hoping to get out of this?
What am I hoping to get out of it?
Yeah.
Well, for me, it's almost like a homecoming. A lot of people I haven't been able to see in person. I think, and you probably have the same thing. When you're in this business for so long, I've been covering diabetes now for, maybe it's 30 years. These people become friends, and there is a certain amount of camaraderie to be around your own. Whenever you're at one of these conferences, seeing people with a Dexcom or Libre or checking their blood sugars or injecting insulin. It's just that it's commonplace. And it's funny because I remember one year, actually it was here in San Diego, I broke my vial of insulin. Well, it was pretty easy to get a new
terrible.
one. And all the insulin come out. That's pretty cool.
I was thinking about my packing supplies, and I have to say, because I was already thinking, like, with the hot weather and the travel, what all am I going to take? And with that being said, because I'm still MDI, and I know you'll make fun of me for this, but I withdraw insulin with a syringe from I have a vial right now, but sometimes from a pen because I prefer to give it that way. That's for fast acting. And I know that I'll be made fun of while I'm there because everybody's like, ding, 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 and like bolusing. And it's like,
I don't, actually, I'm probably going to be made more fun of than you do because you actually probably eat good. I don't. And I do that sometimes just to freak these people out.
Like to test the system.
Dave likes to eat well and drink a lot. But like I said, I think there's all these different parts to it. You've got all these presentations about all of these different things. They have poster sessions, which I believe this year, they're doing that. It used to be actual physical posters. I don't know if they're still doing that or if they've done what ACE did, the American Association of Clinical Endocrinologists. They just had a show here in San Diego. The posters were put on like big screen.
Sure.
Kind of cool. So I don't know what we're doing this year.
Well, I don't understand the point of a poster. So tell me.
So the posters are research that has been done.
Okay.
And then, so these are just my term. I call them the mad scientists. These are people that, the research base in the old days. And again, I don't know what it's going to be like this year. There were 100 of these things on every conceivable subject. And typically what happens, and again, it depends on how into this stuff you are, they will have what they call a poster presentation where the people who did the research will sit with you or, talk with you about research, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So you've got that. Yeah. And then you've got the regular sessions. And then you've got the exhibit hall with all the companies. But to me, the most fun part of ADA is it's just that everyone around you is somehow involved in the world of diabetes.
Yeah.
And it is, I think this year, we'll see a lot of the digital health things. It's not like what's different. If I have to say the difference that I've noticed over the years is because of new financial regulations, companies can't use ADA like to reveal things. If you're a publicly traded company, you basically, if something good happens or bad happens, you have to tell the world. It's called Regulation FD. It was years and years ago. But they do, a lot of these companies will, I think, especially this year, will kind of use ADA as a launching pad for something like, especially Lilly. They couldn't ask for better timing with their drug because the entire diabetes world is going to be there. In the old, again, I don't know how it's going to work this year. In the old days, there was a very heavy amount of foreign presence, okay? Not just domestic. You'd get people literally from all over the world coming to the event. And
I want to say too, really quick, with if you reference the word, or if you use the word diabetes community, and that's who's present. And I totally get it. Obviously, it's the American Diabetes Association, but I'd be curious as to the percentage of people living with diabetes, type 1 and type 2 separate, and people just in the industry.
Yeah. If I had to parse it out, you're probably going to get less than 5% of attendees are just regular folk with diabetes.
We are so special.
A lot of huge industry presence, huge endocrinologist presence, huge research presence. And now, again, because there are separate shows for separate things, there are some fair amount of certified diabetes educators who attend ADA. They have their very own conference, which is in August in Baltimore. But to me, the most fun part, probably because I've been doing this for so long and I have so many friends, is what I call the offsite debates that we all have. Because you're with people and everybody's got a different view.
Right.
And I think that's good. If you can create an environment where there's good philosophical debates and something strange always happens every year. And that's one of the reasons I love going, because you never know what the hell's going to happen. I think diabetes has reached a point, and it's kind of interesting. I wrote this thing for Diabetic Investor the other day. My first ADA was in New Orleans, and it was like, I mean, it was a little dinky show. I mean, it really was.
No offense to you, ADA, because you've evolved.
You know, go ahead, maybe 5-10 years and turns into this huge monstrosity of a show. Then it reversed itself just because economics, whatever. And I won't say it became dinky again, but it downsized. So I'm like, this year, I think everybody's wondering, okay, well, we just went through, what will this be like? And some people are beginning to question the relevance of these shows. Is it worth it?
It's not cheap. It's not cheap to attend.
Well, no, but okay, think about it from a company. Think about it if you're Eli Lilly. Just, you have to fly your people in,
Yep.
put them up in a hotel, you got to feed them. And this is, quote unquote, the biggest diabetes show. And if you're coming like Novo Nordisk, for example, Novo schlepping from Denmark.
Yeah.
Again, this year, I think there's a lot we don't know. And I think it's going to make it more fun.
Absolutely.
Because we don't really know what it's going to be like. I talked to people who went to the attendee conference, it's Advanced Technology and Treatments for Diabetes, and that was in Barcelona.
Yep.
And they said it was pretty well attended. And I think I think my gut tells me there's a pent up demand here and like you referenced earlier, it is a community. We're all kind of fighting for the same thing. We just might fight in different ways.
Well, and I will say that the attendance, I'm sure, is off the charts right now, because just looking at hotel reservations, because I switched my stuff earlier this week. 98% of hotels in the area are unavailable. I mean, that's incredible. I mean, for the city of New Orleans, you're making a gajillion bucks. Good on you.
It is. I think what a lot of people were waiting for, they want a lot of dominoes kind of lined up. COVID's kind of going away. They lifted a lot of these restrictions. And there's a lot of, like I said, I think this will be a very newsworthy conference because of all the things that are happening. And like I said, there's no study that, quite honestly, and I haven't looked, but there's no study that is getting a lot of pre-conference buzz. Okay.
Yeah.
Because the way things work today with social media and the fact that everybody discloses this stuff right away, you get a fair amount of discussion virtually before you get to a conference. But I do think because of the multitude of things, like we said, the 5, the 7, the Libra discussion, the Manjiro, whatever it's called, I think all of that is pretty exciting. And Novo Nordisk is going to have an investor event, I believe it's Sunday. I'm interested in that because, they're working on a once weekly insulin, which is, that sounds pretty cool. Diabetes is getting to be a treatment protocol where less is more. So it should be fun. So,
well, and I look forward to, we will have a follow-up show after we attend, just to let you know, like our expectations. And I will ask you this, Dave, is like, whenever I go into the diabetes conferences and summits and things like that, being around your community, your people or whatever, it's so exciting. It's almost like this roller coaster of, oh, wow, like we're all in this together, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm so exhausted. So do you feel like in those, but I can't wait. Like I pop out of bed. I'm like, okay, today is going to be this. And when I come home, it's like a 3-day detox.
Well, no, that's absolutely right. ADA is one of those conferences. And again, I think this year will be like that because it's the first one in a couple of years where there's a lot going on. And you literally, like, when you get back, you're like, what just happened to me? And I think that's wonderful. And I think it's great that my belief is that every conference should get people to think out of the box. Okay. But there's so much, like I said, there's so much going on this year. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So, and yeah, we're definitely going to do a follow-up. And God knows, maybe we'll post some videos like from there. We got these phones now that we can do all this.
Yeah. So listeners, just know that Dave and I are going to attempt, both of us are challenged with this stuff. I'm not going to lie.
Oh yeah.
We're going to post all kinds of stuff.
I'm going to give it a shot. I promise. I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to do something and I'm going to post it.
Corey, happy.
Folks, we will get back to after the show. Amber, we're going to have a ton of fun.
Yeah.